Whew, sometimes when I go for my morning jog, I wonder what are the least viewed episodes of Modern Who? Just kidding, I'm not running, it's a green screen. Because that's how we're doing top 10s on this channel from now on, with a bit of green fabric. Now I'm in space. So yes, hi Whovians, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another top 10. If you're new here, I'm Crispy Pro, we make Doctor Who videos here every single week. And if that sounds remotely interesting, please consider subscribing. We are this close to 20,000. If not, we've already hit it. But anyway, yes, we did film the top 10 most viewed episodes of Modern Who, and this is part 2 to that. So if you want to check that out, go and do that. Maybe not now, watch this and then that. Or you can do both, I don't really care. Now, just a little disclaimer before we get into it. I'm just spitting out the facts today. I'm telling you what are, at the current moment of filming, the least viewed Doctor Who episodes in Modern Who. A lot of these episodes are from recent years, and I know there's going to be people in the comments below being like, haha, Doctor Who's dying, and I don't think that's the case. I still think the fandom is very, very strong, and the love for the show is still very much there. But anyway, that's just a disclaimer. Let's have fun, because we have fun at the Crispy Pro channel, and we go for jogs.
Doctor Who is such a crazy show.
Coming in the 10th spot is Praxeus with 5.22 million viewers. There you go. This episode I thought was alright. It was definitely one of the weaker ones from Series 12. I don't think Praxeus is the worst. There are some worse episodes out there. Oh, and you'll be surprised that Orphan 55 does not appear on this list at all, by the way. I know, what? But yeah, Praxeus, it's a pretty harmless episode, you know, it's got a pretty good message. Plastic is bad, and the message in this one was way more subtle than Orphan 55. In case you haven't guessed, I'm not the biggest fan of Orphan 55, but anyway, when I rewatch Series 12, I don't usually find myself going directly to Praxeus. It's pretty fun, the guest cast is very good, but yeah, nah, definitely not the best, and I am actually surprised that it's in the bottom 10.
All of time and space is where you go.
Coming in at number 9 with 5.2 million viewers is Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror. What? This is one that I actually do find myself rewatching, so I'm shocked that it's here, really. Some of the main criticisms for this episode was the fact that it was a bit slow, but I personally thought it was quite well paced and one of the most entertaining episodes of Series 12. I thought the actor that played Nikola Tesla did a phenomenal job in the role, and in this type of episode really would have worked in the David Tennant era. But anyway, I don't think the low viewership is a reflection of this episode. This episode's a bit of fun.
And there's something that you should know.
At number 8, we have The Haunting of Villa Deododidididididi with 5.07 million viewers. Even though it has an impossible name that I will never be able to say, this one is definitely one of my favorites from Series 12. It was actually able to surprise me with the appearance of the lone Cybermen. I definitely thought that was going to come in the next episode, but Series 12 did such a good job at surprises. They surprised me all the damn time, which I think is very commendable that nothing was spoiled for us as the audience. One of my main complaints with Series 12 was that the guest cast was too large, and even though this episode had a huge guest cast, I thought that they were by far the best guest cast out of any episode in Jodie Whittaker's era. I genuinely really enjoy this episode, and it sets up the finale perfectly, so I am surprised to see it there. It would be really interesting to see if in the marketing for this episode they had the lone Cyberman in it, to see if that would draw more viewers and, you know, maybe not be in this list. I don't know, food for thought. Give me that food for thought. Oh.
That the show is just sensational.
Alrighty, at number 7 with 5.02 million viewers, we have the Empress of Mars. What? A Capaldi? This is our first non-Whittaker episode in the list, and wowie, what a strange one. I haven't gone back to rewatch it, but I did think the directing in this was very solid. It was directed by Wayne Yip, and he was one of my favorite Doctor Who directors ever. I don't know how Wayne Yip passed on that CGI shot of NASA at the start, though, man. Come on, Wayne, you're better than this. The story was alright. It's not one of Mark Gatiss' best, but it's certainly not his worst. It's very mid-tier. Let's say it's mid-tier Gatiss. That's a mid-tier Gatiss episode. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's a mid-tier Gatiss episode.
Doctor Who is such a crazy show.
At number 6 with just 5 million viewers, just 5 million. That's still quite a lot. At number 6 we have World Enough and Time. What? What? Excuse me? What now? I should just end the video here. I am utterly shocked. This was the 9th best reviewed episode according to IMDb. You can check out that video if you want, but what? This is one of my absolute favorite episodes of the Capaldi run, or just Doctor Who in general, and it's the 6th least viewed episode. And this really shocks me because, as I mentioned in the Haunting of Villa Deododididididi, whatever, they didn't really market the appearance of the lone Cybermen, so I can understand that might have had like not as much interest. But this one had so much interest because it had the return of John Sim. So I am shocked that it didn't do better. And they absolutely marketed the crap out of John Sim, and you know, it kind of ruined that surprise for us. I'm sure A lot of us would have really appreciated if they just like let it happen, and us fans would be like, I was an idiot and didn't realize it was him until the very last second. But neither here nor there. They had the hype, and this episode is stunning. It's dark, it's gritty, and it's good fun. Everyone is on their A game. Capaldi, Pearl, Matt, Michelle Gomez is sensational in this, and so one of the best episodes in the modern era of Doctor Who is here. So makes you think. That's more food for thought.
All of time and space is where you go.
For top 5, okie dokies. At number 5 with 4.99 million views, that's right, we're in the 4s now, we have the Ascension of the Cybermen. I genuinely enjoyed this episode too. This was the start of the 2-part finale for Series 12. Even though they had the silly flying Cybermen heads at the start, I think this episode is very solid. But it was the start of one of the most controversial 2-part finales Doctor Who has ever seen. Doing my research for this video, I found that there's usually a spike towards the finale because there's usually a bit of hype, so I'm genuinely surprised that part 1 to a finale appears on this list. So, I don't know. What's going on?
And there's something that you should know.
At number 4 with 4.9 million viewers, we have... Can you hear me? Hello? Anybody? I think this episode is rather underrated. Obviously did have the massive revelation of Yaz's backstory, and we got to know a little bit about her, but it would have been nice to have that backstory a little bit earlier, so it kind of felt like too little, too late, but I don't know, Yaz might stick around for Series 13. That's yet to be seen. I thought the villains in this were really strong and quite interesting, and the episode definitely looks pretty. It's sad that it just ended up being another kind of forgettable, average episode.
Who's every Saturday when we're at home?
Alrighty, everyone breathe. We're in the top 3 now. At number 3, with 4.82 million viewers, we have The Lie of the Land. Huh? What's going on there? I'm actually really shocked that this one's here. This seems quite unexpected. This was the 3rd part of the Monks trilogy, and I thought this was a really solid episode. This was another episode directed by Wayne Yip. In fact, I think this was Wayne Yip's first Doctor Who episode he directed, and it was good. It looks so visually interesting, and I feel like it's one of the most interesting stories in Series 10. But the ending was a little bit... not as strong as it could have been. But the whole dystopian world where the monks had taken over was really awesome to see on screen. I found this episode really enjoyable, but that's the 3rd least watched episode of New Who ever. That's mental.
Getting all ready, yo, I'm getting in the book.
Alrighty, coming in at number 2 with 4.73 million viewers, we have The Eaters of Light. That's right. That episode that you remember is there. I don't want to be too harsh on this episode, but I think it is one of my least favorite episodes of Series 10, which is an absolute shame because I'm pretty sure this episode was written by a classic Who writer. I can't remember it off the top of my memory. I do remember at the time I did have high expectations for this episode, but ultimately it ended up being kind of disappointing. I don't think it's necessarily bad in any regard. Like, there's some quite good moments with Nardole. It just didn't stick the landing. It never really seemed to make a name for itself. Like, this is not an episode that a lot of people talk about after it aired. Also, I'm pretty sure this episode was scheduled to be earlier in Series 10, but then got shuffled around, so I don't even think the BBC knew what they wanted to do with this episode. And that's a real shame, and it ended up being the 2nd least viewed episode of New Who. But what's number 1?
Peter Capaldi and his brand new kidneys.
Okie dokies, coming in at number 1 with 4.69 million viewers is The Timeless Children. Speechless. The top spot on this list was the most recent episode of Doctor Who. I'm shocked. I actually didn't know this. The Timeless Children is the 2nd part to the Ascension of the Cybermen and was the most recent episode of Doctor Who that we've all watched. And I honestly find it so funny that this is number 1 because I feel like nobody shut up about the Timeless Child since then. We do not have to get into the controversy about that now. In fact, I recently did a video on it if you want to check it out. All you have to know is some liked it, some didn't. Sacha Dhawan was absolutely brilliant in this, completely compelling to see on screen, and I think it's some of Whittaker's best performance work. But it was the least viewed episode of New Who, and I wouldn't have picked it. But there we go. That's it. That's the end of the video. We did it. Good job. I find it so intriguing that 50% of this list was Series 10 and 50% of this list was Series 12. Series 11 managed to get away, the sly bastard. And I think Series 12 and Series 10 especially are much better than some series, Series 11. But hey, I'm just giving you the facts. And some more fun facts are The Doctor Falls, the 2nd part to Well Enough in Time, an episode that should not be in this list, only got 5.3 million viewers, and Orphan 55 got 5.38 million viewers. So you're telling me that more people watched Orphan 55 than one of the best Doctor Who finales ever. it's the game. It's how you play the game. But I digress. Please let me know in the comment section below. Were you surprised by this list? Or were there any that you're like, hey, what the heck? Or did you fully expect this to be the list? Yeah, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll like your comment. We'll have a little conversation. I'll give it a favorite. Just the usual YouTuber things. Please like this video. Please subscribe if you have not already. We must be this close to 20,000, or we've already hit it, and that's so good. Thanks, guys. Have an awesome day. Stay safe, and I'll see you very, very soon. Probably next week because we make weekly content. Anyway, I'm out of here. Allons-y!